Yo, what's up? It's your boy Elijah back again with another video. So I know I promised you tossing me with the shotgun, but just to hold you off until I film that, we got what if Tatsumi was Archer's reincarnation. Now you might be wondering which variant of Archer. Well, this variant of Archer will be the dang it, I already forgot, but basically I guess you would say the original timeline where he was Shiro in Emiya and he got like pulled into the thing. Hold on, let me Google what it's called. Counter Guardian Archer. That variation of him. So if you don't know, there's different variations, like the one that can change his weapons into like those guns. So there's a different variation. Now I don't remember the chant by heart, but if y'all know the chant, you can. But I'm not going to incorporate the chant into this series. I'm just going to allow him to spawn the blades. Now how this will work? It'll be a Imperial Arms. It'll be called Unlimited Blade Works, and that Imperial Arms allows him to summon unlimited blades, basically, and he can also use any other Imperial Arms that's weapon formed or take place in a weapon. He can use those, and I believe those are called broken arms since he can't use them at their full extent. I believe. It's been like 2 or 3 weeks since I last watched, Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works and stuff like that. So yeah, he also has a bow and arrow, of course, since he's in the archer class. But that's enough talking, enough wasting time. Let's get straight into the video. Okay, so the ship in this series, it'll kind of be a multi-ship. Okay, so we have Esdef, Akame, and Leone. So yeah, if you guys like this series, tell me, then I could, push this on more, like I'm trying to do with the what if Naruto was a Uchiha and was like Kakashi. Like I know y'all probably don't like it since I'm posting like multiple episodes back to back, and they're so short, and they probably don't even match up. But I'm just trying to make as much videos as I possibly can, because I realize that my series go by too quickly. Like this is not like when I first started, like with what if Naruto was Trunks reincarnation. Like my voice be hurting, bro. Like I cannot go 4 hours of just recording. Like my storage is taken up. No matter how much I delete, it'll still be like really high. So like things been changing. So yeah, school work, my old, it's just a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's why I don't really record as much as I did. Like I would pretty much post like what every hour when I first started my What If Naruto Was Trunks Reincarnation series, and I didn't know nothing about Super Saiyan, nothing about Trunks, but I was posting like every hour. But now I know some stuff about some stuff, but that's enough talking. This is for you, bro. The guy that keeps asking me for the Tatsumi, the Sharingan Tatsumi video, that is coming out really soon. I promise you. Not today, maybe tomorrow, maybe not. But it's coming out soon. I promise you, okay? Anyways, let's get straight into this video. So, I don't know Tatsumi's last name, so I'm just going to name him Tatsumi Emiya. Yeah. But anyways, I don't even think he needs a last name. So yeah, his name is just Tatsumi. Yeah, just Tatsumi. As Tatsumi's born in this really rundown, poor village, and that village is really poor, and they specialize in sword fighting, and archery, since the majority of people are hunters, and some of them go off to join the army and use swords and stuff, so they specialize in sword fighting. As he was born with white hair, Yeah, I know there's brown hair in the picture, but I couldn't find any picture with Tatsumi and white hair, and I didn't feel like editing it because I'm pretty trash at editing like pictures. So yeah, as he'll be born and Tatsumi would cry as his pearly blue eyes. Yes, I'm giving him blue eyes instead of gray. Like I know Archer's eyes were gray, but I want him to have white hair, blue eyes, cause that's freaking hot. Like come on, come on, that's hot. But anyways, as Nar, I was finna say Naruto, but Tatsumi through the years with his younger sister. Um, I mean, nah, forget that. Just through the years with his two best friends. I'm just going to name them Connie and Ray, since I don't know how to pronounce their names. So yeah, just give them the names from the two kids from Promise Neverland. As Connie and Ray would be really close with him, and Tatsumi's family would be like one of the high class people in the village. Like they have a good amount of wealth, so in their poor run down village, like they're the ones that supply their village with supplies and stuff like that. So by the time he was 5, he would undergo training and have to be cut off from his friends as through this time, Tatsumi would, what the frick was I gonna say? Oh yeah, sorry. As Tatsumi would be training and training, as he'll be trained in the art of a sword, as his two favorite swords, the night sword, the day sword, the yin sword, and the yang sword. I do not know how to pronounce their canon names, so yeah, I'm just gonna call them the dual blades, yin and yang. But yeah, as those are his particular two swords that he prefers. As I know that's not how Archer does it, but this is a whole nother universe, and I'm God, so forget you. As he'll be trained as one day he would approach his father as he would say, "Dad, may you teach me how to use a bow?" As he's like, "Wait, you want to learn bow and sword skills?" She's like, "Yes, yes. It seems like it'll be really useful." As he will say, "Sure." As he will be taught the art of a bow. As this one, I'm going to age up everybody. Like I believe Esdef was like 20 something, so she gonna be like 25. Tatsumi was like 14, so I'm gonna make him like 19 since I want to age him up a lot. But anyways, he will be taught in the art of a bow as by the time he was 5 or 6, I mean 10, 10, he'll be deployed into the village hunting team, and I guess the village personal army, you would say, as they don't have the best stuff, but he definitely has the best equipment since he forged a bow hit by his own hands. It was in a black finish, and he uses the European style of archery instead of the native way they use in their village, which is a bit strange, but they think that whatever works best for him works best for him. As his first mission in the hunting slash army thing was to take down a danger beast that this danger beast would no, he doesn't have the black bow yet. He has a regular bow. Yes, okay, I know just what I'm finna do here. But as he would have to take down a danger beast. As he's like, okay, what level is it? I don't remember like the danger beast ranking, so I believe it's like S, A, B, stuff like that. S rank, F rank. I don't know. So I'm just gonna say it was like a low ranking danger beast. That as they send out a team of 4, and that team includes of Archer, or tatsumi. And then we have Shinra. No, Shinra, yes. And Shinra was the only person in their village with the imperial arms, but nobody knows what it was. Was they think it's like some sort of weapon material arm since he increases the damage of his weapons, so that's what they think it is, but that's not it. And it can also be passed down. So yeah, kind of like one for all. And during the years, it has been passed down from his father's father's mother's sister's cousin's father, uncle's father, all the way down to him, and building up the strength of the last people. Yeah. So yeah, as I do not remember what I just said about all the fathers, but as yeah, so he'll be on the team with Shinra himself, as it will be toward the people, as we have Spike. No, not Spike. I mean I'm gonna say King, and we have V. Uh, they will be on a squad of four, as Shinra will be the leader since he has the Imperial arms, as Tatsumi automatically becomes friends with Shinra since they both have the same personality, and Shinra kind of likes Tatsumi's sword since he have some quite the same, as his is red and black. Red and black, one of them, and the other one is blue and black. So he likes his style, as they would immediately become friends. Now, on this first mission, they will have to take down a danger beast, as they'll be running through the forest, so they find a location and they see that it's a hive, like a swarm, like just a bunch of danger beasts, as they'll say, they didn't tell us we had to take down a whole family. Maybe maybe they weren't told by the capital, as Tatsumi's like, what do you mean, Shiner? As he's like, oh, you didn't know? This village, even though it has its own personal army, gets all of its missions from the capital. As he's like, why? He's like, because the capital is the one that funds us, and if they don't give us missions, we don't get money, and we can't pay ourselves. So, she's like, okay. Uh, as she's like, well, guess we should get started. As he's like, yeah. As he would tie a paper bomb, lighting it to an arrow. No, I mean not a paper bomb, but like a piece of cloth with some alcohol on it, setting it on fire while it's on an arrow. As he would shoot it, as it would go through the cave, as you would see just a buttload of just danger beast cubs. As this danger beast was in the shape of a bear, as they're like, man, we gotta kill babies too. This is messed up. As Sheen was like, life is messed up, buddy. As he's like, yeah, you're right about that. As that's when that's when they start to run out. As Shinra, who else? I already done forgot their names. Shinra and V, and I'm just gonna rename the other guy Mikey. Shinra, V, and Mikey both jump down, as they would start to kill him. Mikey would use his swords, and so would V. Shayna would be using his dagger looking swords, as Tasumi would be taking sniper shots, as they would kill about 15 of them, as that's when the cubs would stop, as that's when the mama would come out, as this thing was 5 kilometers tall, and it was really wide. It covered about like 2 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters, 5 meters, like pretty big. As Cosme's like, well, that's one Big Mama. As he's like, shoot it. Shino would say, as Typhon would shoot it straight in the eye, as it was like, ugh. Sorry, that was cringe, but as it would just roar, and Shin would grab his blades as he would try to cut it, but it would bite the blades, and the blades would break. But the blades would start to instantly like remake themselves. As they're like, so is that the work of his imperial arms? As he would go to attack it, as Shinra is firing multiple arrows, but they're not doing anything. As he would say, "Man, these arrows are so weak; they're just breaking on it." As he's like, "Well then," as he puts the bow on his back and puts his two swords, as he jumps out the tree, as he sneaks attack it, jumping on his back, stabbing it, as it will start to run around like jumping, as Sheena's just holding on, as he's not trying to fall. I mean, Tatsumi's just holding on, not trying to fall off, as he keeps stabbing it in the back of the head again and again, as it stops as it falls over dead, as and they're like, well, that's it. As they start to walk away, that's when they hear a louder roar, as they would turn around seeing a bear 10 kilometers tall, or meters, or whatever. As they'll be like, oh gosh, that's a big bear. as as they will be running away, like, we cannot do that fast. And they'll be running back towards the village, yelling, "Help! Help us!" As somebody walking past would hear their screams for help. As this girl, like I said, he's 12, so she'll be like 15. This girl around the age of 15, no, she won't be 15, she'll be 14, yeah, 2 years older. As this girl, the age of 15, 14, she looks about, like, come out, as she like, what's going on? As she'll see the giant danger beast bear, she would just freeze the ground. Meaning, Esdef got the demon ice powers a lot earlier, like, lot earlier than she did in canon. As they'll be like, whoa, do you have some sort of ice and pure alarms? As they're like, yeah. As Tasmi was she this wonderful beauty. As he would blush like, whoa, who is she? And she's like, so what's your name? And she's like, Esdef. What's yours? He's like, Tatsumi, nice to meet you. As he's like, my name's Shinra. I'm V, and I'm Mikey. As they're like, well, and she's like, well, be careful next time. And she's like, as they're like, okay. As they just walk back to the village saying, ooh, that was good. As they would chop off the head of the big one. As they would take it back to the place saying, job done. As they'll say, good job. As they was like, oh yeah, we should get paid more by the capital, since we had to take on 15 cubs, a mama bear that was 5 meters tall, and this one, yo, that was just a gunshot, and this one was 11 meters tall. We better get paid some more, man. This is crazy. This thing should be 100,000 yen. As they're like, you're right, but they're not gonna give that to us. As he's like, man, as Tasmi would say, man, this is messed up. As Shina's like, yeah. As he would cough up some blood, as Tasmi like, you okay, bro? As he's like, yeah. Now Shinra, he's sick with a really bad condition that can't be healed. As one day, it's their day off. They talk about like 15 missions, taking out danger beasts, escorting people um from bandits and stuff like that. As one day, Shinra would be out training with his swords and his bow. Tatsumi would be, as Shinra would approach him, as he would say, hey, Tatsumi. As Tatsumi like, yeah. As he's like, can you keep a secret? As he's like, yeah. As they walk deeper into the forest, as Tatsumi like, yo, what's up? He's like, Tatsumi, the higher ups of the village noticed, but I have a disease. It can't be cured. As he's like, what? why didn't you tell me? As he's like, because I didn't want you to worry, but I don't have much longer, and I don't have any kids, so that's why I want to give this to you. As Tasmi's like, what? As he would pull, as he would make this energy in his hand, as it would turn into a ball, like like a fruit looking ball, as he was like this. My imperial arms, as he's like, what? I want to give you my imperial arms. Taught me. It was passed down from many generations of my family, and it was a secret that it could be passed down. And I want to give it to you, one of my closest friends. As Tasmi's like, why? As he's like I told you, I'm gonna die soon, and I don't have any children to pass it on to. He's like, but I don't even know how to use it. As he's like, I'll teach you how. As he's like, are you sure that? As he's like, if you don't feel like taking it, as Tasmi's like, I'll take it. As he's like, good, then eat this fruit. Well, eat this, whatever. Just imagine like a giant freaking gusher as he eats it, and his body starts to glow, as that's the imperial arms being passed on to Tatsumi. As if you don't know his powers, let me just give you a little bit of them. So I mean, like, besides the ones that I listed in the beginning of the video. So she can make like shields and stuff with like magic. So I'm gonna say that he can use the energy surrounding him. Um, he also has this thing where he can use pinpoint accuracy, and he can shoot up to, I believe, 4 meters out or kilometers. I'm not good at math, so don't judge me if I get some things wrong. But I believe it's like 4 kilometers, and or like 2 feet or something. And he also has this thing, the eye of watching, I believe, where he watches his surrounding uh opponents and use his smartness to predict his opponent's uh, attacks. Because without that, he would have been died from freaking Lancer, or that guy he felt like he would have died a long time ago. And I'm talking about Archer. So yeah, as like, he also has the Blade Works, where he does a chanting, and they're in this different dimension with unlimited blades. He can do that. He can summon up to 28 blades without doing that, like going into the Blade Works dimension, and those 28 blades he can use per projection magic to control them. So yeah, he can also increase the strength of his blades by using magic. So Tatsumi can do that as well. Let's think. Yeah, so that's it. As he would say, so what now? As Shino would say, give it a day or two, then we starting your training. Yes. Right now, Tatsumi is, like I said, 12, and she only has about 2 or 3 years. So yeah. So as Tatsumi 2 days later would say, okay, as Shino says, alright, I got this training camp set up. As he's like, okay, so what do I have to do? First, we work on your body. You have to be in shape, as Tatsumi would say, okay. And he's like, what do I have to do? Every day, you have to run a 100 no, 10-kilometer run, 200 push-ups, 200 sit-ups, 200 pull-ups, crunches, squats, sprints, you name it. As he's like, okay. as he starts his body to training. As for months he'll be training and training his body alone, not using blade works or none of that. As you know, that's when after like 3 months his body would be looking like this. He'll be looking like this. So yeah, a bit darker from in the sun, as Shinra would say, perfect. Your body training is done. And he's like, oh, that's good. As he's like, well, let's go on this mission. We have to take out this enemy who is said to have the ability to make any metal stronger. So let's hit him up, take him out and steal his stuff for the village. But there's one thing that I need for you since I used it for my old suit. As he's like, your old suit? As he's like, yes, but it's burnt up, so I can't show it to you, but I'll make you one even better than mine. As he's like, okay. As they will go on this mission, as it will be pretty far away, as they'll be running, as they would arrive there, as they're like, huh, he's not guarded, so that's pretty strange since this man is always heavily guarded. As he will going through the window, as there's no guards in there too. Shinra don't sense anything, so they're like, all right, this mission will be pretty easy. There's no traps, nothing really. As they kill the guy, still is play a middle, as Shino would go to the back, as this guy was actually his supplier, so he knows where the stuff was. As he will go to the back, and there will be this thread, this black thread, and this black metal. As this black metal was her to be able to stop a bullet train, as these threads are made from that same metal, it can stop any penetration wound. As Sheen was like, wow. As he's like, in this red thread, it it has thermal regulation, meaning if it's hot outside, you'll stay a bit cooler. If it's cold outside, you'll stay a bit warmer. It's also fireproof and cold proof. As Sheen was like, cool. Now let's take these to our house, to our base first, and take the rest to the chief. As he's like, yeah, sure. As they take the supply of special stuff to their base that they made in the woods out of logs, and took the good stuff to the boss. As the boss says, thank you, kid. Here's your money. As they'll get paid 40,000 yen. As not 40,000. I'm gonna say 100,000 yen. As I was finna say nin, but nah. 40,000. I mean 100,000 yen, and they get paid that, and they would leave. As they would both go back to their base. As he will say, now we working your outfit. Now you can't see it until you're 100% done. So leave. As he's like, okay. As we have basically a montage of Shinra melting this stuff. As once it's melted and molded, once it dries again, there's no coming back. It cannot be remelted and reformed, but it grows with the person that it's meant for. So I'm gonna say that he took some of Tatsumi's hair and mix it in there. How? Plot. Yeah, plot. And yeah, as Tatsumi would be waiting, as a week goes by, as Tatsumi and Shishin would meet up again, as he's like, your outfit's done, everything's done, I even made you a special gift. So let's get down to your Imperial Arms training. As he's like, finally, as he's like, okay, focus. As there's still embers of the Imperial alarms left, so he can still use it until he dies, basically. But it's very weak. It's kind of like one for all. All Might can still use it, even though he passed it down to Deku because he still has the embers of it, basically. So when those die out or when he dies, he can't. He can still use it. But yeah, as he's like, okay, focus your energy into your hands, and image your dual blades, yin and yang, to be in your hands as he's thinking, as his hands will start to glow greenish and a little sparks of green electricity will spark off as he'll be thinking, as a blade would start to form, but it would stop. As he will say, what happened? As he's like, just need more training. Don't rush it. As he's like, try again. We'll be doing this until you can get it. As we skip 5 days. As Shishino, as Tatsumi will be trying and trying. As he does it, he forms his yin and yang blades. As like, I did it. As he's like, good. Now try to form multiple weapons around your body. As he's like, okay. As he masters that in an instant. As he's like, good. Now, I use this thing called projection. It allows me to move things without me touching them. As he's like, okay, as he's like, all you have to do is just think about it. Let your mind go loose. Just think about moving them. Just think about where you want them to attack. As he makes himself, as he's like, these are all blunt, so they will not hurt us at all. As he told them to make blunt blades, of course, make them blunt. As he's like, okay. As they would charge, as Shino would try to make one of the swords, Tatsumi would, but it would just miss the sword that was coming towards him and hit the ground. As he would make the other one block it, as it would block it. As he's like, alright. As he says, I'm starting to get the hang of it. As they would spar, as over time with them sparring, he would slowly learn it. And right now they're on a mission, and he actually learned how to use his eagle eye or Hawkeye and all this other stuff in the course of 3 months. Right now, I'm gonna say he's about 13, and Shinra has 2 more years left to live, of course. As Shinra would take Tatsumi on a SS rank mission, as it would be to take down an Imperial soldier. Like, it was a corrupt soldier, and they had to take him out, and he was heavily armed. As Shinra says, you stay far, cover me from a distance, I'll go in. As he's like, you sure? You said the embers were getting weaker. As they're like, yeah, but they're not that weak. I can still hold my own. Plus, I got you, my successor, by my side, so I'm fine. As Tasmi says, oh, thank you. As he would say, alright, go. As Shimmer would run off. As 10 minutes later, he would spot Shimmer using his eagle eye, as his eyes glowing blue eyes, as he zoomed in. As he's like, alright, taking up the two snipers. As he would shoot, and all the guy hears is phew, and he's dead, falling in between two trees, not making any noise. As Shino takes out the other two snipers, as he's like, clear to go. As he's like, good. As he's running around, and Tatsumi is basically cover firing for Shinra, increasing his arrows with magic, so they'll do optimal damage. And now, right now, he's getting low on arrows, so he's like, all right, rest it up to you. I'll cover you when you need it. As he's like, okay. As as you might be wondering, couldn't he just summon some arrows since they have blades on them? I'ma say yeah, but not now. He don't know how to yet, basically. So yeah. As Shino would go in, as he'll be walking around, as he would take out two of the guards in. Tatsumi would shoot the last one as he's like, all right, clear to go. Guys in his office as he would, go and seeing the guy sleeping in his chair as he would walk up behind him, try to kill him as that's when the guy pulls out a sword and blocks his daggers as he's like, oh, nice senses as he's like, what do you think, kid? I am Imperial Capital Soldier as he's like a corrupt one as as he like talks to me as next thing you know the guy hears as an arrow comes flying through the window as he barely dodges it as it pierces him through the shoulder, going straight through his shoulder, going in to the wall. He's like, dang it, I missed. Now he don't know how to make the arrows move in midair like the as the original archer does, as he doesn't know. So yeah, as well, yet I'm gonna say that's gonna come later, as he'll say, 5 arrows left. I'm gonna be careful with my shots. I see in I see enforcements coming, guys. He's like, this will be quick. As Shinra and the guy, we're gonna name him Lancer. Yeah, Shinra and Lancer will be getting into a fight, dagger on sword or sword on sword, as Shinra's daggers would break as the guy would go in as Shinra would create a blade out of midair blocking him as he's like, huh. So you have Imperial arms that can create blades, and it seems like you can increase them too. Cool. This'll be fun. Cause my Imperial arms is no, because your Imperial arms is no match for mine. As his sword would start to glow red, as he'll say, fire sword, as he was like, so your sword only produces fire? How weak. Guys, Shima just blocks it with a shield stand. I don't even know. Uh, why didn't they think of this from the start? As he makes a sword behind the guy as it pierces him through the neck. As he's like, job done. As the sword twists and spins around, cutting his head off. As Shino puts it in a bag and they both dip. As Tatsumi and Shinra would be running away as they would arrive to the village, and the chief would be there as Tatsumi would see her as death, as she would be there with two other people as he'll say as death. Well, in a low voice, as she was like, "What was that?" As he's like, "That's Esdeath, the girl that saved us from the giant demon bear." As he's like, "Oh snap, that is Esdeath. Ain't you have like a?" As he's like, "Shut up." As he's like, "Sheesh, feisty." As he's like, "Oh yeah, so we got the job done." Like, good job. He was really something else. As the as Duff's commander would say. So it seems like you already know these two boys. As she's like, yes, we ran into each other a while back. As Tatsumi is just avoiding making eye contact with her because like I say, he has the hots for her. So yeah, as he'll say, so do you mind introducing us to them? And she's like, yeah, yeah, they you have to be in a four-man squad, but those two are so good together they became a two-man elite squad. Shinra and my favorite one of all, Tatsumi, the the bull-wielding sword user. Wow, as Tatsumi says, "Hello, Mister." As Shino's like, "Hi, nice to meet you, sir." He's like, "Nice to meet you too." Well, I gave the money to your chief, and we have to go take care of things in the capital. As they'll walk off, as Tatsumi's next to the door, as he turns around, as he just sees stuff in slow motion. He just sees Esdeath walking by with his hair flowing past him, as all he smells is rainbows and good decisions. As he's like, I never knew what rainbows and good decisions smell like until now. In his head, as he will have his eyes closed, as Shishima says, Tatsumi, Tatsumi, as Tatsumi's like, yo, what's up, man? I'm trying to think about something. As he's like, no time for thinking, man. We finna get paid. As they're like, okay, since this was an SS rank mission and you guys did so well, they end up doubling your paycheck from from 1 million yen. I mean, from 2 million yen to 4 million yen. So you both get 2 million yen each. As they're like, yo, that is so much money. So, if you don't know what 2 million yen is in USD, I'm finna Google it now for you. So it is $18,009.10. So, yeah, that's a lot of money. Like, I could buy me 70,000 million pieces of Chico sticks, bro, from the dollar store. Anyways, they will leave as Tatsumi is actually living with Shinra since Tatsumi's father unfortunately passed away and his mother just ditched when he was a kid, or until he was the age for his father to take care of him by himself. As Tatsumi will be living with Shinra now, as Shinra would say, Tatsumi, ready for your training tomorrow? As Tatsumi's like, you bet it, man. As they would eat dinner and go to sleep. As the next day they would wake up and train. As their training would include of push-ups, sit-ups, sparring, boxing matches like hand-to-hand combat, and he is really skilled. Like, I'm talking about Boruto, Naruto level skilled. Like, my man's is like the freaking Muhammad Ali of anime. You feel me? So, yeah, he's like really good at hand-to-hand combat. He's good with bojutsu, so basically like bow staff and stuff like that. Um, kenjutsu, sword, and taijutsu, and which is fighting guys. That what their training would consist of throughout the day. As one day, they'll be on a mission. As this how the mission would go. They'll have to team up with two people from the imperial capital, since they would have to be going up against some people in the rival nation, since they declared, I guess, war against the imperial capital. As Tatsumi would be excited to work with some imperial soldiers, since it's always been his dream. As those soldiers would actually be Esdeath and I forgot her name, but the leader of Night Raid, her, yeah. Cause if you didn't know, spoiler, if you didn't know, as Death and a leader of Night Raid were actually like best friends in command. Like they was unstoppable. So yeah, as they'll be on a mission as Shino says, all right, Tatsumi, you know what to do. As he's like, okay, as Tatsumi, pins up his 5 bags of arrows to his tree. As they're like, why is he back there? As Shino says he can shoot far. As in their earpiece, Tatsumi would say, I got eyes on 2 snipers. As Shino says, take him out. As all as the footsie was just a arrow flying past her head as it will go through the 2 snipers head as he's like, wait, how did I do that? I shot too low. As he realized he has the ability to move arrows in midair, as he's like, that's sick. As Tatsumi says, two enemy sabers coming up. As yeah, as Shun was like, I got him now. This is a 4-man nation assassination mission, basically. So they are like the most powerfulest people ever. So yeah, as Shino would basically throw spawn a blade behind the 2 sabers, stabbing them as his blades would disappear as he'll be running as they'll just see some bodies drop as there'll be other snipers as Shiro says thanks Tatsumi as Tatsumi says no problem as Ev's thinking how good is that bow and arrow of his as the other Lily's like he's good with an arrow. Hmm. Hmm. as Shino would say, I talk to me proceed to come in as he's like, got it. I'll make you round the capital. As he's like, okay, as hold on, I'm back. I had an encounter with Goku and he found out that I drunk a whole Sprite with no reaction and he wanted to fight me. I lost, but he realized that I was just built different. So he left me alone. But yeah, I'm back. I just watched Tatsumi versus Akame so I could get a little bit down. So yeah. So basically where I left off for this really long pause was Tatsumi going behind like the opposite of where they were going as they're like good as they would make a split through the town as the rest of the guards are, during the where the castle is. I'm back for a second time. So they would cut through the city and Tatsumi would go around the opposite way as they would meet as Tatsumi has his bow and arrow on his back and his 2 swords out as they would meet at the top of the castle as as Dev says, what's the swords for? Aren't you a archer? As he's like, I'm good at both. And she's like, yeah. As Shinra says, no, he really is good at both. Extremely good. As they would say, alright, no unnecessary casualties. meaning don't hurt any civilians that is in the palace. We are only here after the king and the king alone. As Tatsumi Shino says, got it. As they would jump down to the nearest ledge as they were going as Tatsumi would jump down further as he would grab onto to a ledge as the guard would be passing by as he would wait till he gets next to him as he would pass him as he would get up as he would sneak behind the guard, slit the man's throat as he would say, come on down. As Shino would say, alright, let's jump. As they would jump down. As they would land on the same floor as Tatsumi has already cleared out 7 of the guards as just like, dang, he really is good. As he's like, he's going to deal with the reinforcements. All we have to do is kill the king and make a boom. That's all we need. And they're like, him? Yes, he's really good. As they're like, okay. As they would go to where the king's office is as Tatsumi would deal with the royal guards as he would be killing them, increasing his blades because their armor is really strong as he would just be blocking them off as you hear boom as he would say what that wasn't a part of the plan or was it did the royal army leave something out again, dang it, the second time as that's when a whole bunch of guards that was in their houses and in their study rooms and stuff like that would come out running towards the castle as Tatsumi would be part on a like gnome thing like those the gargoyles. He'll be squatting on one of those with his bow and arrow ready as Shinra as Death and the other lady would come out as the guards would say, there they are, as Shinra says, Tatsumi, as next thing you know, 3 guards gets pierced by an arrow as it went through 3 of the of the guards, getting stuck in the 3rd guy. As they're like, what, sniper? Where is he? As they're like, another man's down. Dang it. As he's like, as another one's down, and another one. Just freaking DJ Khaled up in this thing, bro. Another body after another body. As they're all like, dang it, where's this sniper coming from? As they would look up as they will see, he's on the gargoyle. How is he shooting that far? As next thing you know, arrow goes through the guy that yells that head. As he goes, as they're like, dang it, how is he so good? As they start to charge as Shinra as Death and other as Death would just freeze them all in place, and the people that didn't get, I'm gonna say that as Death has like a 30-second timer on her ice right now, so yeah. As what's her name, man? Shinra would be fending them off as they'll be fending them off as 2 of them would sneak in as they'll sneak past them as they will go up to the floor that Tatsumi's on as Tatsumi sees that 2 people made it in and they know that they're after him as he puts his arrow, his regular wooden bow and arrow, not the OG Archer bow and arrow, but the regular wooden bow and arrow. He gets that. Oh yeah, I am not gonna say anything now, but anyways, as he would be walking with his two blades out, crouching as that's when the guard comes out with his sword as it hits up out of his hand as they get into a hand-to-hand combat as he actually copied the guard's sword as he would dodge when the guy would go for a punch, tripping over his own foot as he makes his sword as the sword stabs straight through the guy as as he's like there was two of them. Where's the other? As that's when he would barely dodge as he got cut on his cheek as he's like as, as the guard said, dang it, I almost got you. As he's like, you'll never kill me as he makes a blade as he's like, oh, so you can summon blades just like the other guy. Are you guys sharing the same imperial arms? Impossible unless it's a bloodline in imperial arms, which is really dare because that means the person that was passing it down had to be had to be fused with it as he's like, no, it's not, but you won't be able to tell this secret to nobody else because I'll kill you here and now. As he sends his sword towards a guy as he is running away as the guy is fighting the sword as that could make another one while the guy's distracted, killing him. I mean, tatsumi not that good. as sorry, let me check the time. Alright, 57 minutes. I could go on a bit longer. Yeah. As and when I say a bit, I mean maybe 2 hours longer. I'm trying to make this really, really long as Tatsumi will be running off as he would get downstairs seeing that they dealt with all the other soldiers as he's like, good job, let's go. As they would leave, returning back as the Imperial, as at the time the Imperial capital's king would be there as Tatsumi would bow his head as the king says, "There's no need to bow your head, young man. I hear your skills as an archer is really good." As Stuff says, not only that, but he's good with swords too. As he's like, "Oh really? Yes." He has these two blades. They're really cool. As the king says, "Well, that's nice. So you guys dealt with the national capital's king, huh?" "Yes, we did." As as requested, as he's like, "Good. Now you earn something well for your village." As he's like, "What?" As he would bring in loads of foods and water and alcohol. As he's like, "This should be enough for 7 years. This is about 7 years worth of crops, and I brought you some for fertilizing salts, I guess, or like some preservatives." As Tasmi's like, "Mr. King, this is wow. Our village really need this." As he's like, "No need to thank me. I should be thanking you." As he bowed his head to the young man as Esdef and everybody else is shocked because the king never bows his head down, not even to somebody that is a higher rank than him, the emperor. He doesn't even bow his head to him, but he bows his head down to this archer. As Tatami says, "There's no need to bow your head down to an archer like me." As he's like, "It's alright, kid." As he would say, "Well, I'll be taking my leave." As he's like, "Oh yeah, boys." As these men will walk with 5 crates two crates there would be crates full of platinum and gold as there would be enough to buy about 2 years two or three extra years worth of crops. Crops as Tasumi's like, oh my gosh, this is so much. As as Death, and I mean not as Death, but Shinjin was like, yeah, Tatsumi, our village really needed this stuff. As he's like, yes, it did. As that's when you know the guy would say, also, you guys are being on leave for your duty as soldiers. As they're like, what? You're too young. The king, the king said to replace you guys with some older people until you guys are old enough to rejoin, saying you need your education. As they're like, but we enjoy being as the chief says, no arguments. As he's like, as they both say fine, as they would leave the Ambu, yes, the Ambu, as they would go back in school. As he would see his friends Show and Psyche, I believe that was the guy's name. As Show and Psyche would say, Tatsumi, you're back. Oh my gosh. So good to see you joining the Black Ops. I mean, leaving the Black Ops as he's like, thanks. I missed you both. As I'm like, we miss you too, Tatsumi. Man, been so long. We have to catch up. As Tatsumi's like, yeah, we do. We definitely have to catch up. As he would sit down and they would start to talk since the day was a free day, so they would talk. Skimming to the next day, Tatsumi would be around third period as he's just flying through as two people will walk through as it would be the chief and it'll be someone familiar. It'll be V as they'll say Tatsumi, Shinra, we need you both. As they're like okay, as they will walk out as they'll say yes sir. As they're like okay, I'm sorry. We're sorry for putting you out of the Black Ops. That's too messy. We want you guys to focus more on your education. So that's why we created the the Ombu, and that's why we created the Ombu Black Ops. It is more of a police force than a military unit. Take care of petty things, but you'll still be able to, have a work life type of thing. As they're like, really? As they're like, yes, your shifts start tonight. As they're like, oh my gosh, Shinra, this is epic. As he's like, yeah. Now their first mission as a Ombu Black Op member would be just to protect these people. As we would skip to another village. This village was rivals with Tatsumi's village for years, and after hearing that they got gold and platinum, and they're getting favorite by the king, and they were really big, way bigger than Tatsumi's village. As they were split up in half. Half would go to the imperial capital, half going to Tatsumi's village. As well, not yet, but pretty soon. As I said, Tatsumi is like 13 here, right? So 2 years later, right, they would get attacked, and this was, a year earlier than when Shinra was supposed to pass away. As they would be attacked at the same time. The imperial capital would be attacked as In the imperial capital, they would say, you favor, you favor the, you favor Konoha over us? You favor that little village over us? As basically, no, I know you might be wondering, did I just say Konoha? Yeah, that's the only name of the village that I could think of, and I don't know the real name of the village. So yeah, they're like, you favor Konoha over us. The Cloud Village, you favor them over us. As they, as they would just be going on a rampage, hurting innocent citizens, women, children, innocent people. As as that's when they would say, no, we're not. We just had a deal with them. They took on a job for us. Do not favor nobody over each other. As that's when their highest ranking officer, as Def would say, so please stop hurting these innocent civilians, or we'll have to take extreme matters. As they're like, only if you cut all ties with Konoha. As they say, sure, we'll cut all ties with Konoha. As now the attack in Konoha. I know y'all might be thinking this is a Naruto or what if, because they keep saying Konoha, but it's not. Okay, so make sure you don't get confused. As they are fighting hardly. Deku and his arrows, he can only do so much. So much. Remember, he's still human. He's not a freaking guardian over that or the frick Archer is, as he's just trying his best. As that's when Shinra will be getting bodied by these people, as Tatsumi would keep on loading off arrows after arrows, as Shinra is just getting bodied, as Tatsumi finally runs out of arrows, as he jumps down from his tree, getting some swords out, as he's like, dang it, as he would run over to Tuts, like, dang it, why did I have to run out of arrows, as he would get there, seeing, Shinra badly beaten, mortal wounds. Will he die now? No. But I'm just saying, mortal wounds. As, he's like, dang it. As he's like, as that's when the space around him turns clear and swords would be everywhere, as the swords would rise out the ground, piercing all the soldiers. I'm pretty sure that that's not how it worked. Like I said, it's been a hot minute since I watched the Fate series, but I'm just gonna say that that's how it works. As he would. Sorry, I kept seeing little things pop, but as he would run over to Shinra, as he would take Shinra to the hospital, as he would be healed up quickly by somebody with a healing imperial arms. So yeah, as they're really old, don't have much more time. So yeah, but it cannot heal his sickness. But anyways, as Shinra would, Tatsumi would run back out, as he would be looking around, as you see that they retreated, as Tatsumi goes to the chief, saying, "Chief, the cloud attacked our village. Are we just gonna let them retreat?" As the chief says, "Yes, Tatsumi, we are." we're out of resources, and I got this thing saying that the imperial capital cut out ties with us. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, the imperial capital cut ties of Konoha Hagakure. Says it right here. He's like, dang it! As he will walk out, as for the next 2 days he will just be in his room, reading books, skipping school. As Shinra would come out the hospital, as the Tatsumi would be excited, as he don't like being home alone without Shinra. Shinra's like a brother to him, and it's weird not having his brother by his side. As Tatsumi says, Shinra, you're out. And Shinra's like, yes, I'm out, Tatsumi. As he's like, Tatsumi, today's your birthday, right? Shinra's like, Shinra's like, Tatsumi, today's your birthday, right? As Tatsumi's like, yeah, today's my birthday. As he says, good, I have a gift for you. Meet me at the base. As they would both leave, as Shinra would leave earlier than Tatsumi, as Tatsumi would leave later, as he would be blindfolded walking there, as Shinra would say, alright, Tatsumi, as he would set up a table, as he would have a big box next to the table, as it would be sectioned off, as well, on the table would be some stuff there, as he's like, Tatsumi, open your eyes, as Tatsumi would open his eyes, as he would see this. Hold on, I don't feel like pausing. Alright, gallery. Okay, so he will basically see this outfit right here. He would see the red coat and the black armor and the black pants. He would also see some black shoes and a black bow, as he's like, is this all made of that special metal we stole all those years ago? He's like, yes, it is. As he's like, whoa, look at this bow. It's so nice. As he's like, I also remade your swords. They're made out of the same stuff. As he's like, where are they? As he would say, open that box. In the first layer of the box would be his sword. Well, the two swords. As he was like, thank you so much. As if they disappear going into the blade works, the dimension. As he's like, oh, open the rest of the layers. As he heel bones it, seeing, and there's five more layers. As he sees arrows. The first layer, the first two layers are just thousands of normal arrows, and this box is pretty steep. Just normal arrows, but they're made out of that special metal. They're black and with silver tips and red fur. As he's like, whoa, these arrows are epic. As he opens the one after this, the third layer, as that would be what should they be? I'm gonna say it is you know the sword that heals you, but when he activates it, it makes like swords like tiny swords that stitch him and like reinforce his muscles. It is that sword. He'll say, "Yo, this is cool, but it's a bit smaller." He's like, "Yo, this is cool." As he's like, "Yeah, it can also heal you." As he's like, "Cool." Now they can share the Blade Works dimension. So yeah, as Tatsumi would put it in his Blade Work dimension, and he would say, what else? As there would be some more arrows, and these arrows would be explosive arrows. As there was only 5 of them, but they would be useful, and the rest of them were just normal arrows. As Tatsumi's like, thank you so much for this. As he would say, go try it on. As Tatsumi would say, sure. as he would run inside, putting on the stuff as he would see that it would automatically match to his size, knowing that he made it years ago, but it would automatically match to his size as Tasman would say, how is it matching to my size? It's made out of this special material. It's smart metal, and the guy also uses imperial alarms to make it 10 billion times stronger than tungsten, but it's easy to be malleable the first time it is used. But if you try to reheat it, it won't work. Because he's like so cool. As he's like, thank you so much, Shinra. As he's like, no problem. Let's return to school. As for the next year, Tatsumi is 16. He would they will be during school and Anbu Black Ops. As Tatsumi and Shina, right? They'll just be chilling at the beach since Sayo and Darken, I don't remember the guy's name again after I named him. So Sayo and Darken would, invite him to the beach as Shinra and Tatsumi's chilling as they're just talking in the sand as Shinra says, Tatsumi, you're like a brother to me. As Tatsumi says, you're like a brother to me too, Shinra. As he's like, good to know. As he's like, Tatsumi, no matter what, we'll be brothers forever. I'll always be with you and you'll always be with me. As he's like, yeah. As he's like, that's good. As he would kind of like do like that manly hug, like when you like have your arm around a other person arm like that, yeah. As he'll say, brother. As he would stop talking as Tatsumi would say, Yoshina. So just random conversation as Shinra isn't answering as he will look over seeing Shinra's eyes closed as he's like, oh, he's probably asleep as he would see if he was breathing as he's not breathing. As he checks his pulse, seeing that his pulse is gone as he's like, Sayo, Darken, Shinra, he's dead. As they're like, what? Can't be his sickness. He was supposed to have another year. How? As he's like, it's probably the wounds he got. No, as they would, he would pick him up as they'll be running to the village as um he would go to the chief saying, Shinra, he's dead. As the chief's like, no, he can't be. As Tatsumi say he is. As they would both be crying as Tatsumi would be super sad as Tatsumi as they would say he's right, he's dead after checking his pulse as they're like, no, dang it as Tatsumi would as Tatsumi would say so there's no coming back from this one, huh? Nope. He was a really strong kid, but no coming back from this one. Sorry. Had to take a drink of water as Tatsumi would leave as they would take Shinra's body to the morgue and put him in a casket as they will hold a funeral and Tatsumi would say, Shinra, I'll make our dream a reality. I'll go to the imperial capital and I'll become a imperial soldier for you, Tatsumi. I mean, for you, Shinra. As he would lead the um funeral after putting Shinra's blades on his grave as he will start to pack up him and Shinra's house and their base, as he'll be wearing his outfit as the archer outfit with his blades. No, he don't have his blades as he'll just have his bow on his back as no, he's not wearing it yet, as he will walk to Darken's house as Darken will open the door as he's like, oh hey, Tatsumi, what's up? As he's like, I know your mother and your parents and Sayo's parents died in a war when you guys were younger. So I wanted to know if you guys wanted to come to the Imperial capital with me for Shinra and for the village. As he's like, sure. And he's like, well, go pack your bags. I'm gonna ask Sayo. As he's like, okay. As he asks her the same thing, she says sure. As they will both pack in, and they will meet Shinra in 3 days at the gate. As the villagers would wave them by, as they'll wave back, as he'll be wearing his archer outfit. As they're like, hey, where'd you get that outfit? As he's like, Shinra made it for me from this rare metal he found. As he's like, as they're like, oh, hmm. As he's like, well, let's get this started. Through the travels, they would get split up. As this is where we would have the start of canon. Dang, I went a whole hour and 22 minutes without netting from canon, pretty much. As he will be walking, as he will come across a danger beast as attacking these soldiers, as he would be grab a arrow, as he would be holding his bow in his hand, as he would take the arrow, as he would shoot it. Now he learned to store his arrows in his blade work the dimension. So yeah, as the arrow would explode as it was explosive arrows. He actually made more of them just with some regular metal. As the guys say the same thing as they did in canon, as they would take him for a ride, and um he would be there, as he would be walking around the town as the thing with Leone still happens. As no, this is years before canon. Yeah, forget that. But he still encounters the soldiers and the danger beast, so there's no Leone encounter yet. As he'll be walking, as he'll be thinking, I wonder if they're going to be here. As he'll be walking, as he will walk in, as he happened to be walking in during a parade, as the parade was going on, and he was watching it. As after the parade, he'll be approached by Esdef. As he's like, oh, Esdef, it's you. Long time no see. You look so different. And she's like, oh, Archer, right? He's like, Tatsumi, but you could call me Archer. And she's like, well, good to see you. I was actually gonna come to your village. And she's like, why? Um, the king actually wanted you to join our secret military forces. As he's like, really? Yeah, they did. As he would say, okay. She's like, do you want to join? He's like, yeah, of course. As they're like, okay. As he's like, oh, and any money that's supposed to go to me, give me half and send the other half to the village. As she's like, got it. As it's his will, so they have to do what he says, since it's his money, it's not the kingdom money, I guess. As as you know, as Death would take him, as he would meet Bula and Akame's sister and the other guys as she would say, "This is an old friend of mine, Tatsumi." As they'll say, "Nice to meet you, Tatsumi." As he's like, "Nice to meet you too." As um, one of the people say, "So, what's your skills? Just an archer?" He's like, "No, I'm pretty skilled." As she's like, "Yeah, he's really good with a bow, and he's also good with some swords." As he's like, "Do you have an imperial armor?" She's like, "No." And he's like, "Yes, I do." She's like, "What you do?" "Yeah." As she's like, "What is it?" As he's like, "Blade works." As he summons blades in his hands. As he's like, "This is it. So you can just summon blades?" "No, I can summon any blade or any weapon that I see. I can also store things in like blades into this different dimension of mine. It's called the Unlimited Blade Works dimension. I can also increase the strength of my blades, and I can also and I also have this thing that I naturally got when I inherited this power from my brother. Um, it's called Hawkeye. I have pinpoint accuracy, and I can shoot up to 4 kilometers away." As they're like, "Yo, you'll be a good asset on this team." As he's like, "Well, thank you." So when is our first mission? As they're like, "Well, you're ready to start quickly." And it's actually tonight. Our first mission is da 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 assassination, this and that mission. As he's like, okay, as he shows off his skills, and for the next few years till he's 19, and he realizes the corruption in the system, he would ask Esdeath to leave with him. As they're pretty close, they're like friends. As well, more than friends, I guess. And she's like, "No, this is everything to me." As she's like, "If you want to leave, you can leave, but I'm not leaving with you." As he's like, "Okay." As he would leave the special route desk, he'll be walking around looking to join Night Raid. As he would pretend to be poor to support Archer that inherited this from an old friend who died. This outfit of his. As he'll be picked up by the girl, and the same stuff will happen. As we'll basically skip to him versus Akame, basically. As Akame would be running towards him. As she would jump on his head saying, "You're not a target." As he would just come in front of her, basically t- teleporting, saying, "I'm not here to as she slices with her sword. As he dodges. As he's like, "That's a nice sword you got there." As his disappear, as he copies hers. As she's like, "What? How?" And she's like, "That's my imperial arms. I can copy any weapon that I see, even imperial arms." As he slices, as he goes for a cut, as she dodges. As they get into a sword fight, as you can see the sparks flying off. As that's when Leona would step out. As she'll say, "Oi, oi, Akame, calm down." And she would grab her by the head. As she would say, "What are you doing, Leone?" As Leone would say, "Well, I have a debt to pay this kid." As he's like, "Oh, it's you that girl." She's like, "Yep, but I kind of owe you if you don't remember." And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Remember those guys?" "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah." And she's like, "Okay." Now, this little family you're trying to protect isn't all that good. As he's like, I'm not trying to protect it. I'm trying to join you. As she's like, why? The corruption in the capital is not right. I used to be in a secret route. As she's like, really? Yeah, you might know me, codename Archer. As they're like, oh yeah, the guy with perfect aim. Mm-hmm. As she'll think mine would really like this guy. As she'll say, well, anyway, I'm gonna show you what this perfect little family is up to, anyways. As he would be disgusted by the sight that he sees. As he would look around, as he would see her. It would be his friend Sayo, as he would say, as he would almost puke after seeing her hung like that. As he'll say, as he would get anger on his face that the girl would try to sneak away as Leone would grab her by the head. As he would hear someone say tatsumi, as he would turn his head kind of shaking. As he notices the voice, as it would be him. Darken, how? As he's like, she gave us some food, and then it was dark. She was torturing us, and Sayo died, and he would cough up blood falling over on the floor. As he's like, as Tatsumi says, not again. First, she got hurt by an attack on the village, and also as the sky goes gray, clouds will form and blaze will form everywhere. As he'll say, you'll pay with your life for what you did to my friends. As blaze would circle around her, piercing her from every single part of her body. As she would be dead, really. As he would pass out. As Leone would say, well, this kid's pretty strong. Does he have an Imperial arms? As Akame says, yeah, he can copy weapons, but how'd you know? He said that. As he would say, who cares? As Leone would say, this kid is heavy. As Bula would say, I'll carry him. I knew him. He was with them. I was only in the lower levels, but we would talk now and then. As he'll say, oh, so you know him a lot. Yes. Real name Tatsumi. From Konoha Hagakure. As they're like, wait, he's from Konoha? Yes, he was a part of the Ambu. Then he moved to the Ambu Black Ops. It's a bit strange, but he did. Now, I'm pretty sure the Ambu Black Ops are the same thing. Like the Ambu and the Ambu Black Ops are the same thing, just with Black Ops behind it in Naruto. But I'm just gonna say it's two different things in this universe to the plot. So yeah, as Tatsumi would wake up, as he'll be tied to a chair, as he'll wake up in front of Commander